Hey, what's going on? Um, so just making a quick video here. Hopefully, trying to catch a live trade and possibly show you guys. For some reason I can't get filled. Oh, there it goes. Those things. What the hell? Okay. Um. So yeah, that was glitching up a little bit. But I did get the fill here. Um, wow, look at that. This is a $2 candle. Uh, wow. Um, wow, yeah, it's still going. This was, man, that was quick. Wow, it's still going. Um, this was a chart. As you can see, it started gapping up this morning. Uh, started around $7 here and reached a high of 13, almost 14 in pre-market. See this candle has 1 million shares of volume traded. It's still going. Wow, that's insane. This will be halted soon if it keeps going up like this. But I basically just got in here uh, thinking that this would go up, and it definitely has. So I could have held this a lot longer. I sold in the 1330s, and this just went up to 17, and I'm already up 2400 on the day. That's insane. Um, that's really dropping hard now. But these These types of moves are really parabolic. These are parabolic movers. You know, they can, if they can move. You know, it's up $8 today, over 125%. Uh, you know, there's not always a lot of moves like these. So this is kind of something the traders really wait for. You know, charts and moves that just go like this. And this can definitely keep going. You know, this could dip here a little bit, and this could keep going to $20. Uh, you know, I wouldn't think that, but you know, it could definitely happen. Um, but these are really scary to trade, just because you know you get in at the wrong time. This is gonna drop hard. This candle dropped from 17 to 14. So you know, you take 1,000 shares, and you get in for that candle, you're down $3,000. So you just really have to be careful with these, because they'll really burn you, and they're very scary. Mainly what you want to look for when buying stuff like this is you want to look at the volume. That's this down here. This shows you how many shares are being traded every minute, because these are 1 minute candles. So underneath it, it'll show you the volume. Like, this has almost 390 shares traded in 1 minute. So that's a lot of volume. And, you know, that normally means people are buying the stock. So that's a that's normally a pretty good indicator. Uh, this is getting ready to drop. Normally that's a pretty good indicator that um, the stock is going to go up, is if you see this volume here. Um, Another thing that you can look at, especially in the mornings on a big gap up like this, um, you can start kind of drawing some support and resistance from the pre-market. So like here, this kind of topped out, just below $14. So you see this dip back down. Uh, I got in here thinking that this was gonna catch some volume here, and it did. Another good thing would be the break of this high up here in the pre-market. You can buy for the break of pre-market highs for a morning spike, and that gave a good that would have been a good buying opportunity. But like I said though, you really want to be where the volume's at. So, like down here on IMMU, there's not a lot of volume on this. There's some, but not near as much as this up here. And you really want to look at where the volume's at, because that's what people are looking at. And once you get so much volume, the stock starts making predictable patterns, because 65% of all volume in the markets is algorithmic trading, which is basically computers. So if you're trading a low volume stock, you're basically trying to trade against computers, and that's not a very smart thing to do, because computers are very smart and very unpredictable. So, and once you start getting volume, this like I said, the stock, it starts moving more predictably. uh, and you're not trying to trade against computers. So volume is definitely a big thing to look at. Uh, you can see here in the scans how much volume is traded. Um, if something's already trading 1 million shares, 14 minutes into the market, that's a lot of volume, and probably something to be looking at. This looks to be a pretty good dip buy opportunity. I'm a little late here, so I'm not going to trade this. Um, But a lot of times, after you have a big spike, this is going to come back down and bounce a little bit. And, if you can catch the bottom of that, right here, it was right at the 9 EMA, which is this blue line on my chart. This bounced here pretty good. And if you can buy the bottom of this little dip here, because this is going to bounce a little bit. Only thing to be cautious of is that, it's really hard to catch the bottom of a bounce. And if you're in too early, this can still keep going down before it bounces. So you just kind of have to be careful of that, and you want a little bit of a confirmation that this is going back up first. So these little colored lines on my chart, this is the 9 EMA. This is used for quicker time frames, like the 1 minute chart, which is what I'm using. It kind of acts like a trend line for uptrending or downtrending stocks. So a stock that's uptrending pretty well today normally rides the 9 EMA pretty well. This green line here is the 20 EMA. This is a little bit slower than the 9 EMA, and a lot of times when a stock breaks the 9 EMA, it'll pull back to the 20 EMA, which is what it did here. This yellow line is the VWAP, which is the volume weighted average price. And the VWAP is a good indicator of for shorting. If a stock is above VWAP, then most of the time that's a bullish signal. And if a stock is breaking the VWAP, most of the time that is a good bearish signal, or a good signal to short, that the stock may be showing some weakness. And this down here, this orange one, is the 200 EMA, which is more used on daily charts for like the year. It'll see, this one's kind of funky because they did reverse splits, so this stock was never in the 200s. But on a normal stock, this is normally a pretty good indicator on the daily. to show some resistance or some support. But you can see here the moves on this are kind of dying down a little bit with the volume. Uh, as the volume starts slowing down, so does the price action. That's why this candle moved $3 a share. This has the biggest volume. Um, this is Friday, so normally there's not as much volume on Fridays. Uh, people are done for the week. They're traveling. They've already made their profits. Um, they're taking it easy, spending time with the family or whatever. Uh, Normally there's not as much volume on Fridays, so things kind of start to die out the more the day goes on. And you always want to be careful. Never force a trade. Um, when people start trading in like no volume periods, they tend to lose money. Like I said before, they're trading against a computer, and the odds are not in your favor. Uh, Trading is not gambling. Uh, it's more of managing risk. So, and a good way to manage your risk is to trade when there's volume. So never try to force anything. Uh, you want to wait for the good setups to come to you, and that's a really hard thing to learn to do. It's taken me a long time to learn that, and I still mess up. So you see this crack here. Uh, See, if you look here, you see that the stock is starting to make lower highs. So, each time it spikes and dips, kind of comes back up. It's getting lower every time. Dips here, spikes lower. dips, spikes lower. Um, a lot of times that's a good indicator that the stock is starting to lose steam, and um, a lot of times that will indicate that a short might be setting up. As you can see here, uh, it started rejecting the $15 level here, and boom, straight through VWAP. But I cannot short this stock because this is HTB, which means hard to borrow, which means this broker does not have shares available to short. Now, if this said ETB, this means easy to borrow. It means I can short. And a short is basically, you're betting, you're selling the stock first and buying it back. So you're betting that the stock is going lower. So to sell the shares at first, you have to borrow it from your broker and then buy them back to cover. Once it goes lower or goes higher and you need to stop out. So that's just something that will vary from broker to broker. This is TD Ameritrade, Thinkorswim by TD Ameritrade, and they do not have a lot of shares to short. Um, I don't really see any easy plays popping up, so I only got the one trade on here, and it was very quick. Uh, I was in and out in 16 seconds, and it was $2,400. So this is not the best trade example, but hopefully there was some helpful information in here. I'll definitely try to get some more live trades and kind of show you guys a little more, if that's possible. So this is actually longer than I wanted this to be, so I think I'm getting ready to end this. But if anybody has any questions or anything they'd like to talk to me about, I'd be more than happy to answer that and try to help you guys. So uh, yeah, I think this is gonna do it here. But so I'll see you guys later.